As the future of Venezuela hangs in the balance, the US has been publicly trying to tip the scales. From the US Secretary of State making unsubstantiated claims about Moscow and Maduro.
There are indications that Maduro was prepared to leave and that the Russians asked him not to go.
To explicitly saying the US may use force in Venezuela.
Military action is possible. If that's what's required, that's what the United States will do.
Official after official in the Trump administration has been publicly supporting opposition leader Juan Guaido and challenging governments that support Nicolas Maduro, sometimes using Cold War rhetoric.
I don't say this is an ideological conflict, but this is our hemisphere. It's not where the Russians ought to be interfering. This is a mistake on their part. It's not going to lead to an improvement of relations.
In fact, the US president even tweeted about imposing sanctions on Cuba for its support of Maduro, failing to mention that Cuba has already been under US embargo for 60 years. And in a story reminiscent of the times when the US used to use covert armies to undermine governments across Latin America, the Reuters news agency reported that Eric Prince, the founder of controversial private security firm Blackwater, an advisor to the Trump administration, has been pushing a plan to hire mercenaries to topple Maduro. If that sounds far-fetched, consider that the US president's special envoy for Venezuela, Elliot Abrams, was convicted in the 1990s in connection with his involvement in the Contra rebels scandal. Illegal arms sales to Iran were used to fund a right-wing insurgency against the Nicaraguan government.
Now, here at the White House, they say this is not a case of regime change because Juan Guaido, they recognize, along with a lot of other Western governments, as the legitimate leader in Venezuela. But reality on the ground is that Nicolas Maduro is still in the presidential palace, is still running the government, still seems to have the loyalty of the army. So whatever they're trying to effect is essentially a change of government. Nathan King, CGTN at the White House.